I lost my grandmother to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma about 5 years ago. Loss is scary at first, and it's unbelievable sometimes. It can make you angry, irrational, and of course it's sad. I didn't know how I was going to live without my grandmother. We were very, very close, and she was the warmest person that I've ever known and probably will ever know. I think grief is emptiness wanting to be filled. I think that my grandmother was somebody who was very much the backbone of the family, and we were sort of all our best when she was around, and she sort of held everything together for us. So I think that we had a really, really hard time adjusting to that emptiness when she passed away, and there was a lot of sort of figuring out, like, what we're supposed to do now, because it was sort of like we could all do what we did, like, because of her and, because of her presence in our lives. And so I think that that emptiness was really hard to figure out how to fill it for a really long time, and I think we're still trying to figure it out. After she passed away, I got this tattoo. It means do not despair. And I think that was a quality that my grandmother always sort of embodied. Through all of her illness, she was always positive. I never saw her for a second feel sorry for herself. She was always worried about us, and she was always demonstrating compassion towards others and love. And I think truly because of her, though there was emptiness, I don't think there was ever despair, because just because of the hope that she embodied. The biggest part of the grief process is realizing that the emptiness doesn't have to be filled with the same thing, if that makes any sense. Like, it's never going to be filled with what it was filled with before, but I think it's our work to find positive things to fill it with, like hope, My universal perspective of grief has a lot to do with energy sort of transforming and death bringing new life. And so I really feel like the death of my grandmother will lead to all sorts of new life in other places. Like memories will live on in me, and one day I'll tell my children about her. I think the process of grief is realizing that the energy of the person that you lost is always going to be with you, and that's what's important. It sort of hurts in different ways now. I mean, when you first lose somebody, I think that there's the initial shock of thinking about never physically having them near you again. And then you sort of put up with it for a while, and after a few months you're like, okay, like I've played the game, like when does she come back, like I get it now, grief, okay. But I think then starts the true process of grief, when you start to fill the emptiness with memories, or just embodying positive traits of that person, or realizing the positive traits that you already have because of them. And I think that's what the final steps of the process are really about. They're just allowing that energy to resettle in new and sometimes really beautiful ways, however painful.